Welcome to another episode of Real Talk with Real Fit Pros. It's your boy, Jonathan Loudermilk. And before I kick off the show, I need you to do something for me. Are you listening? Are you paying attention? I need you to hit the like button to subscribe and do all the things. 5-star reviews are very well appreciated over here with the Fit Pro Bros. And if you're listening to this on the Instagram, screenshot this and share it and tag us at the Fit Pro Bros so it helps us get this in front of more Fit Pros so we can help them get what they're worth. And with that being said, we have a very special episode today that I'm going to let Mark introduce. I'm going to give you the honor, buddy.
Excellent. Yes, thank you for tuning in today. So this is actually our second female guest that we have on today. Not that we're assuming any genders. However, we know the genders. We're not assuming anything here. So just so you guys know. So our guest today, she's a very energetic trainer. I can already tell from her energy on the Zoom call that we're on that she is hyped up and ready. She probably got some pre-workout in her or something. She is a business owner. She works with both youth athletes and adults, and she's been blessed to have closely worked with top names in the gymnastics and bodybuilding industry. So we will definitely be talking about that. She specializes in core conditioning, performance endurance, and most importantly, coaching athletes to help them feel confident as if they can take on the world after their training session, which means maybe we need to talk, because usually after my training session, I'm just laying on the ground questioning my life choices. And also, she says she could not give the same workout twice if she tried, which I like that. Variety is the spice of life, ladies and gentlemen. So without further ado, I present to you Miranda Jiggins. Miranda, how are you today?
Hi, I'm fantastic. Thank you. How are you?
We are great. We're excited to have you here. As you were just debriefed a few moments ago, this show always starts with story time. So what do you got for us?
Okay, so I have my zucchini story.
This is already promising.
Do tell.
Okay, so I'm a competitive bodybuilder, right? So I have off season and on season. So off season for like my vegetable choice, I can do whatever green. You're already laughing. I can do whatever green veggie, and I just like mix it up. So like I'll do like zucchini for like one of them, or like broccoli or like whatever. But the first time, so I'm prepping for my 6th show right now. So I think for my 2nd or 3rd show, I was like deep into prep and I haven't had zucchini in a while. And I was like, okay, I'll just, add it in because I can do whatever veggie I want. Oh my God, I ate that. And then so one of the gyms where I train at's like 45 minutes from my apartment. And I was on my way to teach and I literally had to stop like 6 times to take a shit. I'm not even kidding. I was like 20 minutes late to teach my class. And I told them, I'm like, I'll be right there. I'm like, I literally was pulling over like every 5 minutes to like go take a shit. Like I just went right through me. So I've learned from that experience, and now I joke about it all the time. They still bring it up. Like, so whenever I hear the word zucchini, I can like never take it seriously.
High fiber zucchini, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. That's a good one. That was a really great story. I like that.
Well, everyone's had a story like that. Actually, you made me think of one. I'll tell another episode, but yeah, we've all had that.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That was fantastic. So let's get into this a little bit. The first thing I want to talk about is just like, tell us a little bit about your business. You're another fitness professional. So, talk us through, what do you currently do? Do you train in person? Do you train online? Where are you located? And then let's go back a little bit past that as far as how you actually got into the industry in the first place.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll start I live in Dayton, Ohio. I live right outside of Cincinnati. I do in person and online. Right now, my business is a mix of both. So I probably have half in person and half online clients. I train out of a gym in Westchester, which is right outside of Cincinnati. And I also train out of a gym in Miamisburg, which is the Dayton area. So I bounce back and forth between those 2 locations. I also do online training. I do group and private training online. Half of my clients are elite youth athletes. A lot of them are gymnasts, and the other half are adults, like the moms and the dads. So I have a giant range of clients, which is awesome. which keeps it really versatile, and fun for me. So yeah, I love every single aspect of them. So that's basically what I do. How I got into fitness. So when growing up, I was super awkward. I was an awkward, like shy girl in school. Okay. I was always like picked last in gym class. I didn't go to prom. Okay. So I was like borderline bullied when I was in school. And that's how I got into fitness. When I was 16, so when I got my license, I had to drive my brother to boxing practice. So that was like my brother's 5 years younger than me. So I was in charge of carting him around once I got my license. So I had ended up driving him to boxing practice. And then one day his coach was like, do you want to work out? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then ever since then I was hooked. It became like a mental release for me. And then now it's evolved to where it's at. So I really try to focus on like confidence, because like God knows where I would be if it wasn't for fitness. It started as like a mental release, and then here I am now. So that's how I got into the industry. I met my mentor. So my mentor, her name's Betsy McNally. She is the only person on the planet that she knows of that does strength and conditioning just for gymnasts. So she's worked with like very elite upper level gymnasts, Olympians, and she does only their strength and conditioning. So I met her through actually my old boss about 4.5 years ago. And then she like took me under her wing and like taught me the ropes and all of that good stuff and kind of brought me to where I am now. So yeah, that's my story. And then so that's the gymnastics side. And then I have a different coach for my bodybuilding. So I've been competing for 4.5 years. His name's Neil Cash. He is awesome. And he has taught me like the bodybuilding ways and the bodybuilding side. So I've had two like really diverse sides. So I have like the strength and conditioning side and the bodybuilding side. And I'm kind of like a morph between the two, if that makes sense.
I love it. And, the similarities between those two realms are tremendous just because of the type of dedication and commitment it takes to really excel at either one of those is just way different than people just wanting to be in shape.
Right.
So talk a little bit about, I want to go back to the bullying thing because, we hear it a lot. I know, like I have a 13-year-old son and he doesn't really see it. But, we know this exists. So walk us through a little bit about what that was like, how that kind of, shaped you and then how you really just turned and translated that into something positive for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually funny that you said that because I'm working through this with Stacy right now as to figuring out like why that apparently that happens to a lot of high performers when they're like, in middle and high school, especially like for males too, but a lot of females. So I'm learning that, because growing up, because like Stacy always says that like we're always a little bit off, not like a bad off, but we're just like to this or to that, or to whatever. We always feel a little bit off. So I guess I've always felt that way, and I never realized it until like a week ago when I started her program. But yeah, so I was kicked out of like 4 different friend groups when I was middle and high school. The first one started when I was in 8th grade. It's like, I thought these girls were my friends. And then the next day they were just like, weren't, and that was really hard for me because, it's like when you're like, trying to like figure that out at that age in life and then, trying to find friends. And then like one day it's like there and you have like expectations and it's not, that can be really hard. And then the same repeat process happened about probably when I was a sophomore. I would say when I was a sophomore in high school, the same deal as well. Like I thought I was friends with this one group and then I like honestly forget what happened if something happened. But other than that, it's like I was friends with them one day and the next day it wasn't, so it's like those two processes happened again. I'm from a really small town. There was 112 people in my graduating class.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, so I'm from a super small town. So there, like if everyone knows everyone, it's like the social groups start from a really young age, like you graduate with the people that you went to school with when you were in kindergarten, so that was kind of like hard as well too, because like I didn't really felt like I fit in with any of the other ones and I didn't feel like accepted by the other groups there, so I would literally, oh my gosh, so I would get to school like right at 7:30 because like I didn't want to like have like any social time first, I'd get there right at 7:30, be done right at 2:30. I ate lunch in the library my junior and senior year because I like didn't want to sit like in the cafeteria. So I just did that and did my homework. I didn't go to prom at all, but that's okay. Like it totally made me so much stronger and it shaped me for who I am now. And when I started working out, I got a trainer when I was like 17. And it was just like, it started as a mental release, and then it became like, I'm like all about fitness ever since then. So that's kind of the story for that. But yeah, I was always picked last in gym class. I always say that. I didn't own a pair of tennis shoes until I was 17 because I thought they were ugly. So I came a long way since then.
It's so funny you share that, not like a ha-ha funny, but I feel like anyone that's gotten into fitness and gotten real serious about it, like something traumatic happened, whether it's bullying or a bad life experience. And it's funny as you're telling that, like I'm getting like PTSD of like, man, you know what? That's why I started working out too. Like I had a graduating class of like 35 people by the way. So I understand. Yeah, Mark's like, dude, it's so small. Dude, everybody. Like that's how small the school was. And when you grow up through that culture of like how kids treat each other, and fortunately for you, you leaned into fitness, and that actually turned into the greatest blessing for you because of what you're doing now. And that's a big reason why I started working out too. So I relate to that.
Yeah, definitely. It's a huge reason. I'm so thankful all of those situations happened because I firmly believe I would not be where I am without that, and it made me like so strong. Like I'm from this little like blonde girl that was like the skinny, like little awkward thing and weighed like 100 pounds, to where I am now. So it's great. It's awesome. I'm so thankful for it and I wouldn't change anything.
And that's what you just said there is such a recurring theme with successful people is, we're all going to go through shit in life. I mean, that's a given.
Right.
And when we realize that we have a choice of how we want to respond to those things, that's where the magic is. And, kudos to you for choosing a path of positivity and using it to your advantage and truthfully making a career out of it, because now you're the one that gets to empower these people. And it's got to be a good feeling to know that you can help somebody who maybe they're getting bullied too, or maybe they're the outcast, especially when you talk about like super young gymnasts. A lot of times people think they're weird because they're not in school all the time or they're homeschooled or whatever. So it's, it's just a different world of people, and to have someone that they can turn to and see the confidence and see what's possible is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Definitely. It's amazing, and I really can help because especially a lot of those gymnasts, I mean, those gymnasts train like 40 hours a week, they're in the gym, like the elite ones, they're in the gym between 30 and 35 hours per week. And that's not including any additional yoga, core training, anything else on top of that. That's just training, so it can be hard for them, and I've had so many come to me and they're like, you really helped my confidence, all of that good stuff. They feel awesome when they're done working out with me because I just do we just do their supplement training. We do just their conditioning. So I'm not teaching them like flips or anything like that. It's just supplement. It's a lot of core training, a lot of core conditioning. So they feel so good after they're done with their workout. They want to go and like work harder in the gym. They want to go, do great in school, and they just feel great afterwards. So I've had a lot of testimonials from parents saying that they see the difference in their kids, and it feels amazing to be a part of that. It's like, yeah, I help with that, and that's awesome.
That brings up a great point. So it does take tremendous confidence to go out there when you're a gymnast, to go on that floor or, the vault, when they're doing all the routines. And the thing with bodybuilding, like you're literally out there in a bikini and you're like,
right.
You're literally exposing yourself to the world. Like that takes a whole level of like, I feel pretty confident in myself to do that. So what's your process for helping people through that, to get to that point, whether it's the gymnast or the bodybuilding side?
Yeah. So I don't train bodybuilders. That's what I do for me. So I don't train bodybuilders at all. I'm not experienced enough for that, A, and then B, that's what I do. I have to keep that separate. That's what I do for me, keep it separate from my clients. So more with but lucky for my adult clients, they get like a mix of both because their workouts are really hard. So they get, so especially for like Like, so the gymnasts normally get trained a very specific way. They have very specific needs and things that they need to work on, like their shape to their core. But for like my adult clients, like my moms, I'll do a lot of mix of like the traditional like bodybuilding movements, like your squats and like your shoulder presses and your Arnolds, mixed with the gymnastics training. So combining them both for my clients has been amazing because they get the conditioning side plus the like the bodybuilding side, and it just works, you know, it just totally works. So I've been very like I said, like lucky and blessed to be able to show in so many different styles, because when I train them and I give them like a mom like a 45-minute workout, or a dad, you know, at the end they're dying, and but in a good way, you know, not like actually dying, but some of them do. So they get the core training, they get the core training and the core conditioning, you know, but I mix in like the squats, like the traditional movements. So together, all mixed together, has been really effective for them as well.
Cool.
So talk a little bit about how you got into bodybuilding. So you know what? How old are you?
I'm 26. My birthday is actually this Sunday, so I'll be 27 on Sunday.
My wife's birthday is on Monday, so y'all are like sign Twinkies or what? I don't know. I'm sure there's a term for that. I don't know what the hell it is.
You're twinning with the signs.
So you're relatively young, but how did you get into bodybuilding? Like what made you take that leap? Because as Jon said, that's a whole nother realm of mindset and dedication to go on stage and be like, here I am, all me and my glory. So talk us through that.
Yes. Okay. So I always knew I wanted to compete ever since I started working out with my very first trainer. I was like 16 or 17, and he had some competitors, and I was like, those girls were just so strong and so confident. And I was like, I don't have any of that. I'm like, I want to be like them, you know? So I knew deep down that I always wanted to do it. And I'm like, that's going to be for me. And then when I moved, so I went to OU in Athens, and I'm originally I'm from like a really small town outside of Columbus, Ohio. It's called Somerset. You probably haven't heard of it. It's right by Bucket Lake, but it's like 45 minutes from Columbus. So after I graduated college, I moved up here, got my very first job. I was in sales, and I met my coach, my current coach at the gym, and I was looking for a trainer, and then he was like, I'll train you. And then he was like, so when are you gonna do your first show? So it all worked out great, and he's been my coach ever since then, and he's taught me like everything that I know about, you know, like working out and like training hard and all that good stuff for the bodybuilding. So I owe a ton to him. And ever since then I was hooked. I 100%, I love the process and I love the grind. I'm obsessed with like getting on stage in a bikini doesn't even like, that thought doesn't even cross my mind. I love the process, you know, it's like, I love cutting up, you know, I love cutting. I love off season. I don't want to call it bulking, like off season, you know, I love it all. It's like
all the food. That's what we call it.
All the food. Yes. I love all the food. Right. Like sometimes like last season, I was eating steak twice a day, and I was loving every second of it. So yeah. So loving all the food. I really think you have to love the process. I love seeing what my body can do. And I like hard things. You know, I couldn't do this if it was easy. There's no way. If it was easy, I couldn't do it at all. So like especially when I'm cutting, like when I'm in prep and like, you know, the hard days and you push through and you're like, I did that, you know, it's like, I just pushed through and I just killed my workout, you know, it's the best feeling ever. So, and I really feel like cause I've had a few rough shows, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm perfect. Like I've had a few rough shows, like it has not been, you know, it's not rainbows and butterflies the whole time, but if it wasn't for those harder ones, I know I wouldn't push the way I do now. So, but I think you truly just have, I just love the process. I love every aspect of the process. That's how.
There's a lot of genius with what you just said. Mark, I already got you. Me and Mark,
you guys listening can't see this, but like Jon and I are both grinning ear to ear because of what Miranda just said. So
yeah, it's
go ahead, Jon.
We talk about it all the time. We're always in the process of becoming in order to overcome. And so many people are so focused on the end result, which don't get me wrong, that's important. But what they don't realize is they're being groomed through that process about who they become, which then gets the result. And that's really more valuable than the actual result is who you end up becoming in the process, right? Mark's done it through 75 hard, which I don't know which phase you're on, dude. You've done it like 8 times. I've done it once, and just doing it once changed my life. Just the process of going through that, not just well, here's where I'm at the end. It was that grueling step by step and falling in love with the process and the discipline that had an impact on me. And we talk about it in business, we talk about it in fitness. So to hear you share that, yeah, I'd say there's a lot of wisdom in that, Miranda. So that's awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
because that, Miranda, that mindset translates into everything. And when you enjoy the process of something that you already know is challenging, like you're not walking into it going, oh, it's going to be so fun. Like it's hard, right? It takes effort. It takes consistency. It takes planning, like, all the components that are involved in competing in bodybuilding. If you look at the discipline that takes, and then you put that in business, you put that in relationships, you put that in your spirituality, you put that in your finances, and it translates to every single thing. So, that's why we're lighting up like Christmas trees over here, because, you're talking our language here, that, you love the process. And when that happens, everything gets better, because you're willing to do the work, and you're willing to, I don't like saying suffer necessarily, but you're willing to do the things that suck when other people don't want to do it. And, Jon and I have had two, professional bodybuilders on this show, Tony Tavares and Steve Kuklo. And, you can hear it in them too. Like they know what's going to happen. They know how hard the training is, and they're willing to do it every single day for the, I'm going to say the glory, but for the glory of what happens in the end, because they know they become better people. First place, fifth place, the placing doesn't matter. They just become a better person because of it. And, that's what we're hearing from you too. So super, super happy you shared that with us.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, for sure. I mean, and like you said, you can apply to so many other things. Like I always tell my clients, you have to think about the why, on like the hard days, I think about why I started, and it instantly lights a fire, and the fact that I've had to push through so many hard things, especially mental battles, my workouts this prep have been absolutely insane, because I have pushed through so much. Like I'm lifting more weight and I'm in prep right now. I've been cutting since like December, since Christmas, and I'm lifting more than I have, only because I've had so much like fire inside of me, from like the previous ones. It's like, okay, I know exactly what to do. I've got this done, it's like, and it is okay. You kind of have to suffer. Like you have to like that, you have to like that, because you're going to come out stronger. There's going to be a party on the other side, and it's going to be great. So, but you also have to like the process, all of it, to continue. I truly believe that. And that's, like you said, I was having a conversation the other day about business, and they're like, yeah, you have to translate, like fitness and business are so hand in hand, especially with like the outside of your comfort zone, especially with like running your business and all that stuff. So they all morph together in the same circle.
And I think what you just said too, that's what separates the good coaches from the great coaches. Those of us willing to do the work ourselves and put ourselves through that type of thing, it translates into the way that we train our clients and how we hold our clients accountable. And I've worked with a lot of great coaches over the years, but some of them just don't want to do the work. And eventually it catches up. Like they may be skilled and they may have the education, but when they don't have the passion to improve themselves, they'll run themselves out of business. And it's this slow decline of like, oh, lost another client. Oh, well, they just don't treat it the same way that somebody who is pushing themselves does. And that's why, Jon mentioned 75 hard a little while ago. That's why it's so powerful, I think, for coaches to go through something like that, where, you are dedicated for a specific amount of time, because that discipline then translates into everything else. So, these show preps you're doing, whether you realize it or not, are making you a better coach for your clients every single time.
And most importantly, you're leading from the front, and there's nothing more empowering as a coach than you going, I do the work, because there's no excuses. It's not like, well, I did do this and I want you to do the same thing. It's no, I'm doing it right now. What's your excuse? And
right.
It makes it so much easier to feel like, well, fuck, you're right. I'm going to go do that. And then they go do it, get the result, and they thank you for it. Where the truth is, they don't need to thank us. We don't need that, because they did the work, they did it themselves. All we did was become the example.
Right. And that's very true too. I'm to the point where in my life, like with my business and my fitness, I want hard things. If I'm comfortable, something's not working. It's like I will personally put myself in a position to be uncomfortable just because I know I'm going to grow, you know? So that's what I've all been about that lately, you know? So even in the gym, if it's like, okay, if I can only get like 3 reps of this one thing, I'm going to add some more weight and just get one more, see what I can do. If I fail, whatever, I'll get it next time, you know? And like same for my business. I'm really trying to put myself into positions that force me to be uncomfortable because I know I'm going to grow. And that has also helped a lot with my clients because I've had a ton of help mentally, but it's a mental battle within yourself to teach yourself that. Like you can hire as many coaches as possible. And there's a lot of great resources out there, but I really had to overcome that myself. And I feel like I can help my clients with that mentality too. You know, if they come to me and they're like having a bad day, you know, or if like, so, not so much the littles, but more of like the adults. Like if they've had a rough day at work, you know, because I train a lot of moms, you know, and they're busy and I don't know how they do it all because they're all amazing, but but I tell them, I'm like, I know you're tired. I'm like, but if you come, even if you just come for 15 minutes, because I do a lot of like for my online classes, I'm like, if you pop on for 15 minutes, I don't care if the class is 45 minutes, they'll end up staying for the full 45, you know, but I probably wouldn't tell them that if I haven't pushed through myself. I'm like, I know it's really hard, but if you put yourself in a situation, it's going to pay off in the long run. So, and that's really helped with coaching them as well too.
Yeah. And, you know, I like when I can call people young because you're young and you will continue to see your life experiences will always be a learning experience for somebody else as well. And it took me a long time to realize that. Like I'm 41 now, and I a few years ago, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but I finally realized like, oh, all the trials and tribulations that I've gone through, I can literally use it to teach other people. Or to even just to empathize with someone. I may not be able to help the person, but I'll be like, yep, I know what you're talking about. I've been there. And sometimes that's all somebody needs, just reassurance that they're not alone. Because in our heads, I mean, we know we don't have unique problems. And most of us, you know, if you're listening to this and us talking here, like we all got first world problems and they're really not that big of a deal, but there still are problems and we still have to deal with them. So sometimes just having that other voice, and especially from a coach, of being like, I get it. I understand. It's going to be all right. That's all people need to hear sometimes. And then they're like, okay, I'll suck it up for another 10, 15 minutes. And then, you know, and that little victory can propel so many other things the rest of the day. So again, kudos to you for those cues of like, just show up. You know, Jon and I are constantly telling the coaches that we work with, just fucking show up. Like show up to the damn calls and the trainings and whatever it is we're doing, just show up and I promise it'll be worth it. And that's probably one of the biggest life lessons there could be is just wake up and show up.
Right. Yeah. Cause isn't it like, I think if you have a thought in your head and you wait more than 5 seconds, the chance of you doing that like decreases by 50%. Like have you heard that? I don't know if that's like right, but it's around that time. Like, so I try to tell myself that, but yeah. So, and like you said, sometimes these people, like I tell my clients all the time, this is so much more than just fitness. This is like mental as well. You have to have the mental piece with the fitness piece. Like you said, sometimes just some people just want to be like pumped up, you know, or be like, hey, you had a great day. You had a bad day today, but you're doing a great job, you know, or I know you have all this on your plate, but you know, you're doing great. And that can really go a long way with people as well too. And you combine that with the working out and it's a really good situation.
Yep. Awesome. Well, as we start to wrap this up, I got a couple of fun questions. They're fun to me. I don't care if they're fun to anybody.
I like that. And by the way, they're different every show.
All right. So the first question, what is your favorite Little Debbie snack?
Oh my gosh, this is so hard. That's such a hard, I have to pick one.
Just one. If you only had one, what would you pick?
Okay, I like the frosted honey buns.
Ah.
The honey buns with the frosting.
Yep.
I like how specific you are.
I'm very specific with my cheat meal treats, trust me. Yes.
I love it. Have y'all seen the meme? It's like there's Little Debbie, but then there's like Big Deborah.
Super great, yeah.
All grown up and big. Yeah.
Right.
All right. So if you were, and you may have this already because in bodybuilding, sometimes there's music, but if you were a fighter, what would be your entrance music?
My entrance music. That's a good question. This is a hard question. I love probably Pound Cake by Drake.
Now
Have you heard that song?
Look that up because I have no idea what that
Okay. Well, you should look it up later. We should work out to it tonight. It's a good one. Yeah, Pound Cake by Drake. That one's a good one.
Dude, a couple of weeks ago, there was a UFC fight, and one of the dudes came out to a Miley Cyrus song, and then the other one came out to Taylor Swift. It was hilarious. It was like the most bubblegum pop music you could possibly have, and these two badass fighters come out to those songs. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
All right, last question. If you had a billboard and you could put a message on the billboard for everyone to see, what would be the message?
The message would be just trust what your gut tells you to do it and just do it. Like, don't hold back because somebody tells you can't do something. Don't do that. I hate that. You know, like, especially like in the business world, you know, there's might be some females listening to this that want to start their own business and they're younger. Like, don't let anybody push you back from that at all. You have to, and you have to be mentally tough and you have to be mentally pushed through, but don't let anybody stop you from your goals. I know it's very cliche, but I truly firmly believe that.
I love it. I love it. Miranda, you've been freaking awesome. I hope you guys felt the energy because, again, from the moment we even hopped on before we started recording, I was like, oh, here we go. Like, let's get hype. We're doing this. So tell the peoples where they can find out more information about what you do, where they can follow you on social media, and whatever else you wanna plug for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a very easy person to get a hold of. I've been, just so everybody knows that my clients know the best time to get a hold of me is between midnight and 1 a.m. I respond at all times, but that's a great time to get a hold of me because I'm like going at all other times. So Facebook is just my name, Miranda Jiggins. And then Instagram, it's Miranda Jiggins Fitness _LLC.
Cool. Got it. Perfect. We will put all of that in the show notes. And this has been great. Thank you so much for being on. We truly, truly appreciate it. Your energy is contagious, and man, I love it. I love hyped up people passionate about life. Like you're just passionate about life, and you know that's the type of people that we want in this circle. So again, thank you so much for being on. Hey, Jon, you got any parting words for us here, sir?
I think so. Oh yeah. Be like Miranda and go get what you're worth. Yeah. Damn good show.